A being stood immortal in transience, the eternal in transience, the immortal in immortal, immortal in immortal. That is the description of Agni in the Veda. The Veda speaks of Agni as immortal in immortal. A being, it is that Agni, that fire, she was told, yes, fire will be there. A being stood immortal in trance. Observer of the silent steps of the hours, he is seeing the passage of time. The spirit is conscious representative, that being. God's delegate in our humanity, comrade of the universe, the transcendence ray. She had come into the mortal body's room to play at ball with time and circumstance. Now it is that Purusha, that fire, Savitri, that being Angushtamatra Purusha, not bigger than the thumb of a pan, it is he, Savitri is seeing, him, Savitri is seeing. Angushtamatra Purusha, that is what is here, or what the Gita would say, Mamai Ansha, my portion, it is here. My fire is here. Ravi Tulya, bright like the sun, is there. And it is she, that being, the central being of Savitri, the divine Savitri, it is she who puts forth a small portion of herself, a being no bigger than the thumb of man. That is exactly the description of the Upanishad. Into a hidden region of the heart, Hridaya Guha, to feel the pang and to forget the bliss, to share the suffering and endure earth's wound. This little Purusha, he comes here and suffers for that, and labor with the labor of the star. It is he who loves and weeps with man. Within us, he loves and weeps. Now this phrase, this in us loves and weeps, suffers the stroke, exults in victory, struggles for the crown, identified with the mind and body and life, that Angushtamatra Purusha has identified himself with all our naturality. It takes on itself their anguish and defeat, bleeds with face whips, and hangs upon the cross. Yes, it is he who hangs upon the cross. Yet he is unwounded and immortal. He cannot be killed. He remains unwounded. Supporting the actor on the human scene, it is he who supports Christ on the cross. It is he who suffers for that. He loves and weeps within us. This in us loves and weeps. This is a very vivid phrase, loves and weeps. And this phrase appears 3 times in Savitri, loves and weeps, in 3 places. This is a phrase which comes from Pilgrim's Progress by John Bunyan. Pilgrim's Progress. He has used this being who loves and weeps in our humanity. Shivan who has simply lifted up and brought it here. Loves and weeps. Pilgrim's Progress. That is a very famous allegorical depiction of man's journey towards the abode of the Supreme. Actually, Pilgrim's Progress is the second best-selling book over 300 years in English language after Bible. After Bible, the only book which sells in such large numbers is the Pilgrim's Progress. And Shivananda had read it thoroughly many times in his early days. Everything is present here. In fact, there are many phrases like that from Pilgrim's Progress in Savitri. And they are very descriptive, very powerful, very beautiful. Here in this chamber of flame and light they met. They looked upon each other, that being and Savitri were seeing the soul. Here in this chamber of flame and light they met. They looked upon each other, knew themselves the secret deity and its human part. The calm immortal and the struggling soul. Savitri was taken the human birth, the struggling soul, and the divine Savitri, the calm immortal, the divine Savitri has now revealed herself to human Savitri. And then they merge into each other and become one. That is not only the discovery of the soul, the finding of the soul, but the culmination of it is the divine Savitri and human Savitri have fused into each other in that chamber of flame and light. They have become one. So whatever Savitri is going to do, it is the divine Savitri who is going to do through human Savitri. Then, with a magic transformation speed, they rush into each other and grow one. That is what has happened in the case of Savitri. She had discovered the soul, they have become one, they have fused. Savitri was told, if a great change has to take place, the first thing is you must discover your psychic being. Savitri has already achieved that. And she has identified herself with her divine counterpart, her source, her origin, the divine Savitri. But that is not enough. That is a step in the work, in the yoga, in the mission of what Savitri has to do. First thing is she must discover soul. And then she has to move on. Discovering the soul is not enough. Yes, you have discovered the soul. Many things might also happen. But by discovering the soul, it does not mean that we have conquered time and death. The mandate for Savitri is conquer time and death. Discovering the soul is not going to conquer time and death. Time and death, they are not lost in the soul. They are lost in the outer world, in the physical world, in the world of ignorance, in the world of inconscience. It is there she has to go and work. She has to go and work there in the light, in the power, in the flame of that soul. That has now become the kindling lamp for her to walk through all those regions. But now the half open lotus bud of her heart, they have fused into each other and the lotus bud has opened out, had bloomed and stood disclosed to the starry. In fact, what is going to happen now is Savitri and the divine Savitri, the divine being, they have become one. As a result of that, the divine Savitri's force is going to enter into the subtle physical of the earth. They are met, it has to enter into the subtle physical of Savitri. Center after center of a subtle body, they start getting occupied by the divine force. The divine Shakti enters now into the subtle Sukshma Deha of Savitri and establishes herself in every place, starting from the center above the head, down below, down below, down. So Savitri is immediately launched on the Tantric Yoga of Kundalini awakening. But this Kundalini is of a different kind. It is not something which is rising from below, it is coming from above. The first landing is here and then it comes down. Savitri's Kundalini Shakti is flowing down below. And center after center open out. Well, let us rush through quickly. For instance, in the flower of the head, in the flower of matter's base, in each divine stronghold and nature's knot, Granthi, nature's knot. It held together the mystic stream which joined the viewless summits with the unseen depths above and down. The string of force, each is a fort, each is a center, each is a lotus, each is a knot. The string of force that make the frail defend, safeguarding us against the enormous world. It is these centers, this force, they start getting occupied by the divine Shakti. The Mahakundalini rushing down into Savitri starts occupying center after center in her body. And then all underwent a high celestial change and goes on. In the kingdom of the lotus of the heart and goes on. In the deep place down below, in the deep place where once the serpent slept, the real Kundalini which is sleeping at the bottom, at the base, where the serpent slept, there came a grip on matter's giant powers. Matter is now under the control of that force. For large utilities and life space, a firm ground was made for heaven's descending might. And behind all reigned the deathless soul. All the centers have been occupied, but they are under the hold of her soul. So, Savitri can never be misled by any other force. The danger of Kundalini Yoga is that you can slip into dangerous zones. You can go away. But in the case of Savitri, although all the centers have awakened in her, they have occupied center after center. Behind them is her soul watching and guarding and observing all that is happening. Therefore, she has complete safety in her, in the Kundalini Yoga. A light comes down into the ignorance. Its heavy, painful knot loosens its grasp, and life is. Well, let's move on. Yes, Savitri has discovered her soul. Yes, Maha Kundalini has entered into a subtle physical. Is that not enough? What else is required? This is a kind of a siddhi which is achieved after many births by the yogis. Savitri has that thing now in her. Is there anything else now Savitri has to do, has to acquire? What more? What more? If more still must be done, is there something done? Now, this is the important thing in the case of Savitri. Savitri gets guidance, gets instruction at every crucial stage of her yoga. She got the recipe in the beginning, remember how you came, etc., all that. Then she was told, follow this road, go, like that. She has now discovered her soul, the Kundalini has entered in her being, and then the question is, what more? Is there anything to be done? And then Savitri is told, no, this is not enough. Your task does not end with that. Your achievement does not remain at this stage only. There is, all right, there is one, a new proximity to the skies. By this discovery, you have achieved some kind of a closeness to the skies. A camp of God is pitched in human time. This is what has happened. Camp of God has been now established here in the human time. But that is not the end. Camp does not mean that you have accomplished what you are supposed to do that thing. It is a station, it is a place from where you have to now start the battle further. A calm, slow sun looked down from tranquil heavens. Savitri has to move forward. The whole atmosphere around, in the hermitages, in the shalva forest, in the woods, the sages, everybody feels a sudden change having taken place all around. They don't know what has happened, what Savitri has achieved. They have no awareness of it. But it is because of this siddhi, because of this discovery of the soul and the entry of the Kundalini, Mahakundalini being, the whole world has changed around. And Savitri's life was glad because everything has changed around. Savitri's life was glad, fulfilled like us. What a simile. Savitri's life was glad, fulfilled like us. Means in the gladness of Savitri is also the gladness of earth. Savitri's life was glad, fulfilled like us. Is it Savitri's gladness fulfilled like us? Or is it Earth's gladness fulfilled like Savitri's gladness? The hint is yes, it is a way of saying. Savitri has discovered the soul, everything has changed, and her life has become glad. It is not her life that has become glad. It is Earth's life which got fulfilled in the gladness of Savitri. It is that which has got transferred from Savitri to the earth immediately. When the whole thing has changed around, it is not Savitri, but the whole world has changed. It is not fulfilled like earth. It is fulfilled like Savitri. All that lived around her felt its magic charm. The bright perfection of her inner state poured overflowing into her outward scene. All her daily acts have changed completely. A strange divinity shone her in her divine acts, in her daily act. A light invaded all from her being's light. Everywhere it is her being's light which is now spreading all around. Above the cherished head of Satyavan, yes, the problem is Satyavan. Everything has changed. What about Satyavan? What does Savitri see there? Above the cherished head of Satyavan, now Savitri sees something different. She saw not now face dark and lethal or no, it is not the face of now it is there around the head of Satyavan. Things have changed completely. A golden circle round a mystic sun. That is what Savitri is seeing here. Satyavan is to die tomorrow, but already that golden sun is there around his head. Disclosed to her newborn, predicting sight, the cyclic rondure of a sovereign life. Yes, it is not Satyavan's death. It is the beginning of the sovereign life. That is what Savitri sees now. Satyavan's death, it means the beginning of a new life, a sovereign life. That is what Savitri sees now. She is now fully in command of the whole situation. But still, perhaps that is not sufficient. In her visions and deepest veridical dreams, in brief shiftings of the future's heavy screen, he lay not by a dollar's decree. Satyavan now, he does not know what is going to happen tomorrow. He has absolutely no idea. In fact, in the whole world around, except Savitri, nobody knows what is going to happen tomorrow. Savitri has tremendous dharana shakti to hold that secret entirely within herself. She can hold it entirely without disclosing to anybody at all, without giving even a little hint that there is something ominous around. She has that dharana shakti in her. Nara's word is there. She is in a position to hold it entirely within her own soul. And it is that dharana shakti which really helps Savitri in her work here. In fact, it is very significant in the occult sense. Savitri should not disclose what is going to happen tomorrow to Satyavan. It is also necessary that on the fated day when Satyavan is to die, he should not die in the company of people around. He should be in the lowly forest. He should go away from the hermitage to the forest. Savitri should accompany him. There should be nobody around there in the occult working. And it is in that loneliness Satyavan must die. That is very important. Now just imagine, for the sake of argument, or a foolish way of thinking, if Satyavan dies in the hermitage, then they'll be all crying and weeping and whatnot and all that. This young man suddenly, and they will start cursing this girl, she brought misfortune to us. All kind of things will happen, the human things will be there. The occult work which Savitri has to do should not meet any human interference. It is absolutely necessary. She should be left entirely to herself. Only the gods above and the soul of nature below, they should be the mighty spectators of that strife between Savitri and death. Mighty spectators of that strife. There should be nobody at all around that thing. And therefore, that secret remains a purposeful secret. Nobody has to know that thing at all. And when Savitri sees everything has changed, she sees a mystic sun around the head of Satyavan. She has a kind of an assurance that yes, everything is all right, possibly. But then, once she sat in deep, felicitous muse, still quivering from her lover's strong embrace, and made her joy a bridge twixt earth and heaven, and abyss yawned suddenly beneath her feet. Savitri is embrace of her lover, still quivering in strong embrace. Now, Savitri is doing yoga and she is having a relationship with her husband. That may sound rather contradictory to the spiritual demands. But we can say that it does not apply to Savitri. It should not apply to Savitri. Because it is that element in Savitri which has to be conquered. The vital attachment or whatever it is there, or connection which is there at that level, that has also to be conquered. Savitri's embrace is not an erotic embrace, Satyavan's embrace there. There is something different in that. Still, that also should not be there. Savitri has to become totally impersonal. Totally impersonal. Then only she can become master of everything. So in order to bring out that aspect of her becoming totally impersonal, the yogi poet is telling us she is still quivering in the strong embrace of her lover, which is very significant, which no spiritual poetry will show you at all. But here there is a greater, deeper element in presenting that. Once, as she sat in deep, felicitous muse, still quivering from her lover's strong embrace, and made her joy a bridge twixt earth and heaven, an abyss yawned suddenly beneath her heart. Suddenly some deep chasm has opened out, because that human element is there in Savitri. It has to be seen. That human element, that embrace, it is going to open out that chasm in the soul of Savitri. That has to be met, that has to be conquered, that has to be overpassed, it has to be crossed. A sudden abyss has opened out. Now, it is from that abyss, the voice of black infinity It is that comes out and tells Savitri, "What are you doing?" It's a dreadful voice. "Get out. You have no business to be here." A formless dread with shapeless, endless wings filling the universe is a dangerous breath, a denser darkness than the night could bear. Night, capital N. Even that night, capital night, will not be able to bear the depth of the power, the intensity of the darkness. A denser darkness than the night could bear enveloped the heavens and possessed the earth. That is what has been revealed to Savitri in that embrace. It is there now lying there, that dread, that darkness, a darkness deeper, dangerous, denser than the night could bear the darkness.